All right, now that we have completed our research phase, we're going to move on to the engineering tab. Engineering tab here in the top line, click that. Now, what this is going to do, and sometimes it takes a little while to open up here, especially if it's the first time you've been in, but what it brings us to is our modeling area. Our modeling area, just to kind of give you a basic overview of this, we have pretty much what's called a modeling tree over here. And really, what I can recommend is that you work your way from left to right and top to bottom. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to work your way down this modeling tree. The one with the wrench on it here is what you can actually do to change settings, and the little eyeball has to do with actually viewing it in the modeling area. So you're just going to pretty much work your way across from left to right, all the way from top to bottom, each one of these categories. So what I'll do right now, I'll kind of give you a real quick how to get started here on it, and then I'm really going to give you some time to kind of just get out there and play a little bit. So from here, we're going to go to our blank setup, click your wrench, and you'll notice that this docking station appears. And what we're going to do here, we're going to select our materials and our size and everything that we need for our blank CO2 vehicle. Now, yours will be a consistent size once we get back to school. But this one here, we're going to set up just so we can use the software here. So at that point, really what you can do is click the eyeball, and the eyeball will bring up a CO2 car blank. Now, as far as being able to take a look at each one of these blanks, down here in your control menu, there are a couple different commands that you can use, one of which here is your rotate. So if you click rotate, you can kind of move this block all around and get it into the right location. If you want to go back to your original here, we can just kind of reset. That'll bring you back to your original setup. All right, so now we've rotated the block. So we've rotated the block and kind of see what we're dealing with. Now the body material that we're going to start with balsa wood. That's fine. And we'll choose a large blank size. And all this should pretty much be the same. Now, when we get a little further into our activity, we will actually have to come back here and locate our axles and what type of wheelbase we're going to use and how high off the ground. But we'll get back to that here in a minute once we see a couple of the different specs that we need to meet. So really at that point, you can hit apply, click done. You now have a block that you're going to start with. So like I said, you're going to work your way left to right, top to bottom. Now we're going to go to our upper profile. You're going to click the wrench, click the eyeball, and you can see that it's going to kind of turn it to that upper side from the side view. And it's going to give you some options as far as changing the size and shape of your design. Now, chances are there might have been a pre-designed one in here before, but really I'll just show you how you can kind of start to shape your vehicle here from our upper profile. Now, all of these changes here with our different lines and our different shapes, they can be done in a similar manner here. There's one of which ways we can do lines or we can do curves. Really, I would stay away from the stuff on this side here. Just use these four boxes here. There's lines and curves, and then there's add point and move point. So pretty much you're either moving points, adding points, or you're doing it in a curve or in a straight line. So let me show you how to add a point. Let's say we want to add a point here on our line. Now we've added it. Now we want to move it. So you can take these lines, you can move these shapes here, and watch what happens if I switch to curve. See, we can kind of curve that out. Let's say we want to bring this down a little bit. And maybe we'll shorten up the front of our vehicle just a little. That's your upper profile. And really, you want to make sure you have a little bit of space around our air hole back here. And I'm just keeping this design simple. So I've added a couple points. I've moved a couple points. That's curve. If you wanted to make this in straight lines, you can see like that. But I want it to curve to make sure we have a nice little aerodynamic design. All right, so let's call that done. We're going to hit apply. Click done. That'll get rid of that docking station for the upper profile. And you're going to make your way down to the lower profile. Click the setting. Click the eyeball. Now we've got, and like I said before, we might have had somebody in here using it before, but really what we can do now is let's move some points around. Take a little bit off of that side. I'm going to go back to curves here just to kind of give us a nice wave design. Let's bring up our, so we get rid of this, bring that down to our original point. We'll call that good. Apply, done. Work your way down from the top profile. So you can kind of see that the block and the base block here is kind of showing in the background. Eventually what we're going to do is we're going to cut all this stuff out that's not going to be included in your design, but that's kind of nice to leave the base block on so you can kind of see and make sure that you're within the base block design. So we're going to go to the top profile, go to the top profile, click your eyeball. And what it'll do is it'll actually move you into the top view, and you can kind of just move around a few points. And this stays symmetrical. It's kind of a nice feature that the program has. You don't have to worry about doing the other side, making sure that this car is balanced. It's already symmetrical, so just move a couple of the points, or if you wanted to add a point, you could do that. Let's put a point in here, another little wave. Put one here. And how I have it set now is lines. Let's go back to curves. I kind of like to curve these designs. And we can go in and move our designs. And you'll get better with this as you make more and more designs on the vehicles. Let's see. Okay, that looks pretty good. So from there, we're going to do an apply. We're going to then click done. So we've got a top view. We've got our top profile, lower profile from our side view. And here, let's reset our orientation here. And we're gonna then go to our rough solid. And this is gonna kind of give us an idea of what our car's looking like once we actually shape it up. And it looks pretty good there. A couple things I might change, but for now, we'll just continue to move forward here. Then we can go into our features. Features, let's view them. And really what I would suggest on your first vehicle in particular is just to pretty much have none of these features included. They start to kind of mix things up. Once you get more comfortable with the program, you should be able to play around with this stuff. But for now, just leave everything on none, click apply, click done. Now we're going to go to what's called our refined solid, and the refined solid is going to be kind of like the sanded version of our vehicle. Now you do have an option here. It has to do with fillets, and fillets are kind of rounded corners. And of course, we want as many kind of rounded aerodynamic corners as possible here. I'm going to recommend that your first design here, you select a 5mm fillet. We'll do that for both our rounded on the bottom and the top. Stick with your red, just so we have it here, and we apply it. Now watch what will happen here when we take our fillets and we click on our eyeball. You'll see that we're going to start to round some of our edges there. So now at that point, we've really done what we can to get a nice shape of our vehicle. We're going to have some changes that need to be made. Obviously here for your axle holes, you're going to want those to be moved further apart. And we'll talk about that here in our next video.